Pop a bubble.
And Elsie's so far.
Alright, I got 2 o'clock. I know that clock doesn't say it, but it's 2.
Recording in progress.
Thank you, Chris.
You're recording, Tom?
Yes.
Great.
Alright, I'm gonna call it.
One quick thing, and that is that the people on that side of the room, our microphone's over here, so you need to speak up.
Or they could just not.
That's
Oh, I'm sorry again. If we go a lot quicker.
He's had too much sugar already.
Alright, I call the board meeting to order. Confirmation of proper notice.
Notice is posted no later than the 11th, which according to statutory requirements works.
Very good. Alright, roll call.
Cookie Finch. Here. Dan DiStefano.
Here.
I'm here. Shannon is at an appointment. Steve.
Here.
Dick Picola.
Here.
Danny Palmer.
Here.
Karen Baker.
Here.
Monica Heigl.
Here.
Marv Howard.
Here.
Oh, he's there. Oh, he's over there. Tammy Alborn.
Here.
Tiffany Conklin.
Here.
Barb Carey.
Here.
Gus Miller.
Here.
And John West.
Here. Very good, very good. Let's welcome everybody. Don't really have a whole lot. Just get to it. Review minutes. Everybody looked at them? Any comments, changes, anything? Have a motion to accept? Dick. All right. Dick Picola. I'll second. Dan seconds. Anybody opposed? All right. So done. Financial matters. Right in.
Okay. So this, I'll just do year-to-date June, because we didn't have a meeting in May, so this will
Speak up.
cover.
Barb, you have to speak up.
Can you speak up? Gus, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right here.
All right, thanks. Okay, just the major things to note, a lot of things are pretty much timing differences with the, I'll give you the exceptions. Under our income, it shows that our year-to-date actuals are under budget. That's technically not true. We talked this morning, the accountant has budgeted the reserve interest under operating instead of reserve. So John is working with the accountant to have them reclassify that. Under administration, of course, we talked about that for several months now. That's the result of the actual insurance bill being less than we anticipated. The other timing differences are electrical repairs. That's the ground straps under buildings. Under pool and tennis, some leak repairs, and then under utilities, where 39,000 of that 70,000 is due to the trash removal, higher rates than anticipated. The rest of that balance is due to seasonal utilities. Any questions on that? I'll move on to CDs.
Very good.
As of June 30th, we've had a little over 1.5 million invested in reserve funds invested in CDs. We've earned $37,800 to date on that. We're still on target to earn about $70,000. Of course, we do pay 30% federal tax on that, so we'll be getting back about, only netting about 40-something thousand, but every dollar counts. As of today, since the collection in the condo fee of insurance funds and into building towards next March's payment of the insurance bill, we took $300,000 and put it in operating CDs so we could, or at least earn a little interest on those, and those CDs will mature in January. And that will be on July's report because that activity happened in early July. We did receive, in terms of the unclaimed funds, we did get the check from the state for $3,600 and change.
Can I bring up a question under that?
Yes.
We have two options to either call it unanticipated income, or it really involved funds that were paid to the gas company that gave us credits back. So we could also, instead of calling it unanticipated funds, we could call it credit back against the gas usage, which would help reduce somewhat that. So we'll do it with the gas, okay?
Very good.
Barbara, did I
Yes.
hear you say 30% we pay on taxes on that money?
Wow. Yeah.
And no deduction.
There are some
There's some
deductions. The
miscellaneous.
reason we haven't paid taxes over the years is the fact that we do pay health insurance for most employees, and that comes as a form of a deduction. So it'll probably be slightly less than the 30, but we've always never paid taxes because we really haven't had any income.
I knew there'd be some, it just shocked me at 30%.
It's
I
up
mean,
there, it's
but
up there.
income generated from homeowners is not taxable, because that's all used to pay our expenses for the association. But anything you do outside of that generally has to be taxed, so.
Thank you.
Okay. Accounts receivable.
Okay, accounts receivable, we're getting, for our place, a little higher than normal. So we got down to the brass knuckles and called Ouija, and he visited a few people, and we got some good monies in. All kidding aside, they're lower than they have been in the last 2 quarters, but we're still working on a couple. As a matter of fact, we had to send 3 units to the attorney for collection because they're not responding. They both owed 2 quarters in the 3rd quarter coming up. Well, now they really owe 3 quarters. So for all intents and purposes, we had 2 that owed $500 or more, less than a quarter. We had 2 that owed 1 quarter and 3 that owed 2 quarters, and the 3 were turned over to the attorney. Subsequently, one of the 3 had paid their money. So the really outstanding money is about $6,000 versus 16 or 18 where it was about 3 weeks ago.
Are these repeat offenders?
One of them is in your cluster, John.
We're gonna go again.
They've paid close to $28,000 in arrearages, so I guess as time goes on, they pay it again.
And
Wasn't that just last year?
Last year, they paid $21,000, and then this year, beginning of last year, they paid $24,000, and at the end of last year, they paid $4,200. So now they're back up to about $3,600. And
the question that's come up over there, we had an issue with mold in that unit at one time. Have we checked that unit again?
We've been in there more than once. I think, Dan, you were with us at one time, maybe? I don't remember, but I know
Gus was
Gus was with us, that's right. And clean as a whistle.
Good.
I mean, there's no appliances in there, there's nothing in there.
I just worry about that going over into the other apartments and here we have another mess.
Good call.
Next was legal issues.
Now, there's nothing further other than tracking those.
Okay, very good. Okay, old business, 2nd floor entry slab renovation.
Okay, recently met with the contractor, explained some of the issues that are a problem for us, i.e. some bleeding through of caulk. He promised to go back and give 2nd coats to see if that will cover. We've still had a couple issues to resolve, which I think we'll bring up at the building committee meeting, where some owners have put in, some owners had brick, some people had tile, all of which are somewhat thicker than, obviously thicker than any of the paint, and therefore when it came out, now there's a pretty good lip, if you will, or not lip, but space between the cement and the siding that comes down. And we're going to have to figure out how to resolve that. I mean, it's something the owners did, could be very expensive. In Unit 1, what is it, 614, I went up and inspected. They did a very good job of
612.
re-siding it, and they 12. And they stripped all the siding off, took all the tar out, and put it back together again. They also thought and we're gonna talk about this Wednesday, you don't know about yet, but they're proposing, instead of tearing all the siding out, which is pretty darn expensive, maybe we can put a material in those gaps that will retain tar, and we won't have a leakage issue, but that's to be talked about, okay? So it's probably the most rocky project we've had since I've been here. A lot of stuff gets done with some issues that come, but this one is a little strange because it had various aspects to it, some we didn't anticipate, but we're working on it.
Electrical repairs?
We're down to one now, I think. In my report again, you'll see 138 has been replaced. Unit 308 just had his unit go down a week ago Sunday, and we're awaiting a replacement date from FPNL. It has been turned over to our contractor to replace. To my knowledge, that's the only one that we have out there right now. Lately, we've been seeing like, again, one fail a month, but we're going to look at that in reserves and in the budget for next year.
All right, pickleball and tennis court project. I just signed the contract today for the pickleball. We finally came to terms with it, and it actually went down about 10.5 to 45, so that's $6,000. We said not to put up the wall, but he's going to put a berm all the way around, about 30 inches high.
Dirt burn.
Yeah, soil, and then we'll put the sod on it.
Yeah.
And that way that will save a couple palms. We were gonna have to take out all three if that wall went in, but I think now we can get away with just the one on the side where it's pushing up the concrete, so.
I think we got to take that one out where they got to have access with a dump truck. It's a smaller pond over there by, by Monica's.
Yeah, by Monica's in the grass there. Well, we don't have to take it out, we're gonna move it. We can always put it back.
Was the original problem with the wall was going to not allow drainage off the courts?
Yeah.
So how does the berm work?
Well, the berm is gonna be out from the courts for a ways, a little bit, so we'll have some grass area where it can soak in. Or we're also gonna put a drain out, but it's gonna be a drain that if the pond starts coming up, we can plug that so it doesn't bleed back.
Oh.
It's just, like I said, it was a lot cheaper and saved us from taking out actually 4 palm trees.
And it would be double, because then we could have created an area where we could contain water, having a wall and a berm, so fine tuned. Going to start August 1st.
Okay.
No, I looked at by the way, the ones down here are blue.
Oh, down here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I knew that was blue. Yeah.
No differentiation.
And the tennis courts are blue as well?
Yeah, I think so. It's all blue to me.
I'll go take a look. Keep it uniform, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
I mean, we can always put 2 different colors. All right. Bulk debris pickup and disposal.
Okay, we looked into, if anybody's been in the back here, they can see, and you can all see how much furniture has been set out here filling up the dumpster. I investigated having just furniture removed out of there. A 12-foot truck would cost approximately $700 per load. We probably have a load sitting out there outside of the dumpster now. But you get a couple lazy boy chairs, a couple king-size mattress and box springs, and a couple sleeper sofas like what is out there. They're probably about $100 an item to get rid of them. At this point, I think we should encourage the owners to either donate these items. There's a multitude of charities that will take these items. Even mattresses, they'll take mattresses as long as it doesn't have defects. They say as long as it doesn't have a stain or a smell, mold, pests, rips and tears, or broken springs, charities will take those mattresses. So to save $15 or $30 when you're getting a mattress delivery, you're costing the association $100 or so. So same thing with the furniture. There's places have to have the Humanity, Salvation Army, St. Vincent de Paul, Goodwill. These places will all take furniture.
They don't take anything upholstered.
Well, some of them do. Some charities do. I would encourage people to try to either get rid of it on Facebook Marketplace or, give it to somebody. But it's a problem back here in the dumpster. And I think in the future, if we keep getting those large amounts, I think there's going to have to be a fee to get rid of it.
Dan, I thought at the last meeting, or was it the workshop meeting, that we don't pay extra for them to do multiple meetings.
Well, at this point,
Okay. Is that-
we're paying a couple $100,000 a year to get these dumpsters out.
But that's no matter how many
Well, we don't
loads they
know.
do?
We're not
If we
sure
push it,
at that.
They'll raise it, I'm sure. Right now, they pull it, what, once a month?
You
or
saw how
twice?
much they
Well,
dumped in last year?
This past month, we got two loads, and we really could have used 4.
Yeah, right.
If
could've
we
used
can get them to pick it up twice a month.
As long as they're doing it, it's not a problem.
They're only charging for the rent of the dumpster itself. They're not charging per pickup, which is one of the reasons Dan, on an investigation, backed off on developing a fee structure.
We didn't develop a fee structure
Well, if we
when
can
we
get that
found out we didn't
list.
pay for every load.
But, and not only that, but somebody got them up.
Somebody
Somebody
on the
brought it.
staff
Oh,
brought
no,
them here.
it's staff time. There's
Our
definitely
staff people
time.
brought them
Yeah.
here. That's time and that's money.
Tom,
But the other thing that happens is people put it in the dumpsters by their units. If it isn't picked up by the association, they dump it in the dumpsters by the units.
Well, that's when we need
It's hard to
your
put a
tar
couch in there
It's hard
by
to
yourself.
put.
But they
a
find a
lazy
way to do
boy
it.
or-
They managed to put a dishwasher in the recycling bin last year.
What? Are you kidding? This one out here?
Yes.
That might not have been owners though, that could have been somebody on a weekend coming in here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that come in here and just probably dump their stuff because, they can do it. They don't get caught, don't have to be an owner to
Could be
do it,
another association.
right?
We even looked at putting a fence up that would be very expensive, but then we found out that they'll probably dump it at the fence gate.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna keep an eye on it for now,
Yeah.
and if you can give the secretary that list of
I will.
places,
I will.
that when people call in, hey,
Yeah.
can somebody pick this up for me? No, you can call these people and see if you can get rid of it
Or
first.
put it,
Facebook Marketplace is a wonderful
Is
place
it?
to get rid of furniture.
That's right.
Especially if it's free.
I always have gotten, the minute I put in free, I get tons of,
We've sold almost
Messages.
everything
I know.
ours on
Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace. You can even get money for it.
Dan, do you want to put maybe an article together, special
can.
for the newsletter?
Sure, I can do that.
For this fall?
Be happy to do that.
Okay, so that's now. The tree, Highway 141 is all gone.
did they?
Almost.
Almost.
I mean,
They had half of the stone.
the tree was amazing. It took them 8.5 hours, and it was a work of art how they took it out the way between the building. I mean, they were angling it, and they were measuring it, and they were dropping it with ropes. It was just amazing. And let's say 2/3 of the stump has been ground. I talked to the John Brown, and he said they stopped basically because the way that the stump grinder has to go, it's now going to hit the wall and hurt the stump grinder. So we have to make it. This just happened Friday afternoon, where we've got to make a decision what we want to do with that portion of the wall. If we take out 4 feet of it or whatever it is, where the stump is, then they can go all the way down and get the stuff inside. But there's not much they can do more because of the way that the action of the grinder is to the wall. Now the wall needs to be repaired. Probably wouldn't be 4-foot section, but it's the only way we're going to get the stump out of there. So we can talk about that again, the buildings, the grounds. But I mean, he says he can't do much more.
Okay.
I think that they stirred up a nest of ground bees though, because we walked Max back there. It was after they'd ground it one day, and we were almost attacked by a bunch of bees coming out of where that stone.
Could be.
Yes.
It was interesting though, they did find that there was some serious rot in that tree. The core was rotted even though it was very hard wood. And in the sometime future, there could have been a real issue with it.
Have you seen any bees back there?
No, I've been back there a bunch.
We were back there, I was pulling up the,
Yeah, I didn't really see.
somebody lost their cable, their cable was cut.
Oh, and
I was digging through the sawdust, and I never saw a
did they
bee.
bury that? Can you bury that cable?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay, because
Needs
that's
repaired, I think.
Yeah, he repaired it.
Did he get it repaired?
Yeah, that was Bob Backus.
Yeah.
But people are going to trip on it if it's not.
Yeah,
Well, that's
laying all
true,
over.
but they still got more either grinding or something to do, so you want to
Okay.
see where it is. The only reason they cut it is they couldn't see it before.
You can see it now.
Sure can, it's nice and orange though.
Yeah, it sure is.
All right. Drainage project. I think we're about halfway done with that.
Yeah, if not even maybe a little bit more. You know, we had some very heavy rains over the last couple of days, and not a drop was found anywhere, because both Jack and Jim were here during the heavy rains, and they looked at many of the drainage, and taking the north pump north has done a lot already. We've got to do some work, minor, I think, less than we may have to do coming south, because it was evacuated real good.
Yeah, because the south holes in the walls are still blocked.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, yeah.
But that's, part of that's going to be owners.
Oh, no,
On their side.
On
No.
their side, yes.
Yeah,
On the
that's-
outside.
That's right, but no, I mean, we're still working on
So
it.
we're still working on that. But that's good. I mean, that rain we had.
Well, I was over at the
Something.
Weir today. Gus, what's his name's lake? Larry's Lake is getting full fast now. Today, with those rains over the weekend, where we drained into the big lake was rushing this afternoon.
Well, that's, yeah, we took out that one 10-inch board. Alright, what's next? New business, communications.
You wanna do something about the Spectrum contract under old business?
It's signed, sealed, delivered, started in
I don't think you
October.
made it, I didn't know you made it official in here. That's all I'm
Certainly
saying.
can,
I thought we
yeah.
talked about that last month.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, it's been signed, sealed, it's gonna start in October, not November, so we get an extra month of that $5,000 savings, and it won't go up next year. It's, when the contract starts, we'll be getting a check from them for, what, $125,000?
125,000.
You had it, thank you.
Just kidding.
That's,
Well, it had blood in it. See?
Not mine.
Not mine either. Yeah.
I thought it interesting that the budget committee, they earmarked that 125,000 for director fees.
Thank you.
That was for president's.
I thought it
president's
was
fee.
the road administrator was supposed to get some of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they did talk about that. My thought on that is it should go into operating surplus.
Yeah, of course.
Just, we don't know, we're budgeting for, what, 12% or 15% for insurance increase? And if we have a horrible season, and we get some bad hurricanes here in August or September, we could see that insurance hike again. And if we have that at least in operating surplus, just leave it sit there. You know, we have a,
Plus the trash removal.
yeah,
We're
what's the
looking
trash
at an
removal?
overrun of like $60,000.
When do we anticipate getting that check?
October,
Oh, okay.
the end of October.
Okay.
When we start the new contract
Okay.
is when we get it, so. And we could put that
So
in.
we have a little bit of offset because of the savings in the monthly cable price.
Right.
About 15, October, November, December,
Right, 3 months.
That's about 5,500
Yeah,
a month.
Right.
16.5, so. At least for the meantime, that's just, I'll just.
And incidentally, there will be equipment distribution coming at sometime in that maybe last week of September and in the first week in October for those
You wanna
people
switch?
have to make decisions on which, do they want the box, do they want the Zoomy, or do they want the, I guess it's called a Zoomy.
Zumo.
Zumo.
Is there gonna be some publicity about that?
As soon as I
Yeah,
find
yeah,
out. that the-
yeah. He's said he would come out and do a training session.
I know,
too.
we have to let the people know what
Yeah.
their alternatives are and all that kind of stuff.
Or maybe like do something at the next board meeting, making a preparatory announcement of, you
I'm sure it'll
know,
be
key
on the agenda.
dates or training or stuff like that.
All right, we'll get back in a second, see if we can set that up. Communications.
All right, the first one is reported previously, but letter's been sent to 205 regarding extended patio. She's agreed it's gonna come out, it hasn't come out yet, so I'm pursuing it, okay? She also has a car that happens to be out of date for her tag, but she contends that she paid for it and they didn't mail it to her, so she's having an issue, so we're following up on that also. We have found 3 or 4 vehicles that were out of date while we do our rounds, and most everybody is conformed.
Is that only refer to Florida plates?
Oh, no,
No,
but Canada has stopped issuing them, so you'll see old dates on Canadians.
I know one has Illinois plates and there's no expiration sticker on it at all, and hasn't had one on since I've been here in 4 years.
Yeah,
It's because
maybe some states aren't doing it anymore.
Well, yeah.
They scratched
Illinois
it off.
is.
Yeah,
Denny, they scratched it off then, because Illinois does.
I know Illinois does it, but they've never had a sticker.
but we'll look at it then.
Because I was just up there.
what unit number?
359, 358.
58. Well, maybe I
We'll
have
take a look at it, yep.
In the carport, that's one of them. He has 2 vehicles and they both, neither one has it. I moved down here from Illinois, actually, so I know.
Sounds good, but we did find out that Canadians stopped issuing
What?
totally.
Well, they might have Canadians, but Illinois didn't.
I didn't see it, yeah.
And what else you got?
All right, second thing is received a letter from a visitor to 662 regarding an incident with a neighboring dog. I talked with the dog's owner, heard slightly a different story than the letter, but I understand, and I haven't heard yet, but I understand that animal control was planning to visit and do a wellness check on the dog. I haven't heard yet back on that. So there was an incident between 2 dogs.
John,
Yes.
I've had an incident with that dog also.
Okay. Okay. All right, thank you.
That's fine.
Tom,
I have 2.
you have 2. Okay, well, then we got an issue. Continue.
It's a very aggressive dog.
Okay. Well-
I'm sorry, but it shouldn't be here.
Well, let's see. We certainly look forward to a report from the animal control. That's the first thing you do, so we'll work on it. I will follow up, okay? And the last one is that we got an email from Miss Lillis at 519 saying that the Cortez planting flower bed area looks bad. Well, it's degrading to the whole community and making us look like a slum or something like that. But anyway, we've normally in the summer not planted that there because of the heat. And whatever we put there dies in about 2 weeks, and it costs a lot of money to redo it and redo it. So this has been going on for 5 or 6 years, where we've planned again in September. So if we want to put something else in there, we can do it.
Have we ever defined exactly what people want out there? I mean, it's not just flowers. They tend to think it looks like, look, I don't see anything wrong with it, quite frankly. I don't want to look like the dunes of Vegas or anything like that. But I do think that if we could just get a definition of what they want. Do they want it painted? Do they want a different sign?
We paint it 2 or 3 times a year.
All of
But the
done.
cars get it all the time.
Right, well, that we know, but I think we're chasing a phantom unless we know what they want. Is it flowers? Okay. Well,
In the
what is it?
summertime, they just die, because they
Yeah, I mean, like, we've done as much as we can.
We were going to send someone over to Hobby Lobby to see what pretty tan flowers would do, but they might melt out there too.
And you know what, we've had neighbors put the pretend flowers out and it looks horrible.
Yeah,
It looks worse than real flowers.
Yeah.
Cheesy.
But yet I've seen some that almost thought were real.
Are the hedges in good shape? It's mostly
The
hedges, right?
No, it's hedges. They're all fine. They're all growing well, and they're irrigated, and they're trimmed. But it's the 2 lower venues, or whatever you want to call them, levels,
Tier.
The 2 tiers, correct, thank you.
tiers.
Yeah.
That we always have flowers of some sort, and they really bloom nicely through the winter. They just die right away when you plant them, say from May through September.
And there's no irrigation out there.
Oh, yes, there is.
Is there?
Oh, yeah.
It's just right there in the,
Yeah, but it's
flower
too
in
much
the
heat
sun.
every day.
Yeah.
There's no shade.
In the sun.
Irrigations.
They can burn up in a day. The irrigation comes on, what, every 3 days?
Yeah.
So,
Is there some kind of succulent or something that would thrive out there?
I'm gonna ask Diane.
Perennial or something like that?
She does Florida plants really
Yeah.
well, so I'll check with her and see
Yeah.
what works good in the drought.
Lots of Florida native plants work great in droughts, but the problem is that they're not very showy. And I think people like really luscious
Colors,
petals
yeah.
and colors, and Florida native plants tend to be kind of more like wildflowers. I know we put
everything.
wildflowers into the boxes before. Sometimes people are okay with them, and sometimes they want something different. But we could talk about it at the landscape committee
There you go.
if you want us to.
Yeah, not the building.
It'd be nice to know what could be done. I mean, there's so many things we can't do, and, but is there anything we can't do? I mean, is it paved? No, because we painted it. The signs
Now,
are
we're talking
there.
about the flower beds. She's just talking about the lack of
I know.
anything in that flower, those 2 little flower beds.
Maybe,
So-
should you kick it back to the landscape committee?
Yeah. Oh,
They're gonna see it on Thursday.
thank you very much.
Sorry,
Do
some research ahead of
throw you
time.
under the bus.
Oh, no. I'll take the opportunity to put in some native plants.
Oh, that's my girl.
There you go.
Hey, John,
Gosh,
the irrigation that's out there for the flowers on those 2 lower tiers that are such a problem, how often does that run?
that runs on the schedule of the other ones, every 3rd day. They're drip irrigation.
That drip irrigation, that's probably not enough. I mean, we're seeing today, it's supposed to be 98 here in Kentucky. I have flowers, a lot of flowers, they get watered every day. And they're doing fine, but they have to be watered every day. You can't go 2 days.
Great.
Well, that's a very good point, you know. And we'll kick it around on Thursday with the landscape committee. Maybe we can come up with something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're not
Even if you had irrigation that swept or sprayed, I don't know that we could run it every day on this, because it's part of another bigger system.
We're not doing anything different than we've done in previous years,
No.
right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just the communications. All right. You got any more?
That's enough.
That's enough. All right, tree trimming. That's.
Hey,
all
tree
scheduled.
trimming, did we miss one? Where did I get that? Oh, yeah, here we go. No. Anyway,
Oh, there's nothing in the write-up.
there's nothing in the write-up. I must have missed one. Anyway, tree trimming. I had it written down. Must have deleted it somehow. As I recall, the landscape committee said that they wanted to focus this year on hardwoods, primarily in cluster B, where there's dead wood in those big trees. To save another trip expense, since we took the 141 out that was in that area, I directed the tree cutters to hit all those hardwood trees and take all of the dead wood out of the, I think there's 5 trees there in that section, and so that's already been done. The only other thing in there was that at the workshop we decided to trim the palms basically in the same manner we did last year. I know that I've got a
Saved
reason.
a bunch.
Yeah, and we've trimmed 90% of the carrot woods in-house, so we're going to save some money there. And in the interim, I just got from Tiffany a proposal to give to the tree trimmers, both in Anglais and Hispanic, the way that the way to cut them. Maybe you want to talk about that.
Yeah, well, it's just everything that we already voted on, and then it just has pictures so that the workers can identify the palms, because, you know, sometimes in the past they hired, you know, temporary seasonal workers, and they're not very familiar with trees, and so they don't know which one's which. And so the pictures will help them identify, yeah, and I laminated them, and, yeah, Spanish on the back, so, here's a dozen.
Oh, great, okay, great.
Did I just read in here somewhere about the fire department asking us to get rid of the
Well,
overhang?
yeah, that's later. We've already done that. We'll talk about that later. But you can talk about it now too.
Only because you were
Basically, the
talking.
fire department wants a 14-foot clearance on all trees, so they can get their ladders in and everything else. And so we've gone around everywhere. We still have one branch to nip going into the 800s. All of our side of the road is done. Anything you see down has come pretty low. Spring Lake still has to do some, but we're not gonna do their trees.
We got some over here.
They were working on them today,
Oh, good.
down by me anyway.
Oh, good.
I think that's where they were cutting trees,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
Very good.
The landscape committee actually recommends that we don't trim the sable palms this year. They were over-trimmed last year. They were all the way from Pinehurst to Lakeside, and I think even after that, they trimmed them 10 to 2 instead of 9 to 3. And so,
I never heard anything about this last year when they trimmed. Everybody after the trimming was done, even Tiffany said it was pretty good.
I brought it up to John as soon as I saw him in Lakeside.
We'll make sure that they go by their diagrams.
Yeah, the diagram will help.
I would recommend that most of the sables don't need to be trimmed at all this year. What does need to be trimmed are some of the sables along Wildewood Boulevard, which they didn't trim last year. So there's a lot of dead fronds on some of those sables. But the ones within the clusters, they're fine. There's no real good reason to trim them.
I'll take some pictures today or tomorrow when we go out, but I disagree. But
Are we gonna go around and maybe like flag the ones that don't need it, and maybe that would be a good way to mark the ones that don't need it?
What Steve and I were talking about was some of the lower ones, shorter ones, that we can get while we do the normal trimming. We were gonna mark to try to save some and even try to get some of them from when they go upstairs from a second floor balcony to try to save some money from Browns. But there was not at least not given to me, at least not what you're saying. You know, I did miss a meeting.
Yeah, it was passed in the meeting, and I think that one of the issues that we have to be kind of careful of is that when our own people trim palms, they don't follow the rules. They don't follow what we want them to do. There's some that they pencil cut. There's only about 3 or 4 fronds on the top.
In the boulevard.
That's going to kill them. That's going to kill them.
John's had a meeting with them since then, because I brought that up.
Yeah, there's some that have been really severely trimmed.
There's no question about that, and it was just recently done, and so we had a meeting last week.
To make sure that they
You
go.
can give them the sheets too, if you want.
Well, yes, especially the Hispanic ones.
Yeah.
I had an owner talk to me about a couple of the big ones. I don't know what they are, the tall, big ones that have the heavy fronds. There's a couple or 3 of them over on either Wildwood Springs Boulevard that have big, ugly things looking like they're going to fall out of the tree. And those are heavy, they're not the little things. Is there something we do about that?
Yeah, we trim those, and also there's some real big ones behind Jay near Pool 4 that when they come down, the earth shakes.
Exactly, and that's what I'm
it's
seeing
tough,
there.
it's tough for the guys to get in there, but we're going to make sure we get those because they're dangerous.
It's over in front of 700.
John? I'm just sitting here listening. I'm the one that lives upstairs, has the trees, has the little tire ball seeds or whatever they're called that come off of it. And I know my whole row, we've all had that. So, and I understand it comes back to teaching people how to cut the trees.
There's seed pods will be
It's,
cut.
yeah, and those things are horrendous. So I can say, no, do not cancel this whole thing.
Yeah.
Maybe look
I
at
gotta
a different
mow
certain
my
projects
sidewalk
of it,
every
but
day.
please don't cancel that.
Stains everything.
Yep. Oh, it's hard, it's like tar.
Monica?
Who do I need to talk to? I have a huge pine tree in my backyard, and on the 20th, I've been here 14 years. And for 14 years, I do not open up my blinds all the way. I have one that's 20 foot long, that's bare. I have at least 2 or 3 that are 8 to 10 feet long. I have about 6 that are dead coming off of that pine tree.
Just limbs?
They look disgusting.
How about we go over there? I know you and I have had this conversation before, after they were here last year.
Yeah, I know.
So they're
I
not
don't
here
want to
yet.
miss them this year.
Yeah, they're not here yet, and I know what you're talking about, so Steve and I are around, so we'll mark.
It's when you kind of took the dip, and there are like tons of them. So, thank
Good
you.
point, yes.
I'll be home for at least 6 weeks.
Yes, so,
But you usually prepare a list of unit numbers that need special attention.
Yes, we do, yeah.
So you don't have to be there, you don't have to be here. For when they're coming. So I'm sure unit numbers on the list.
We won't paint them anymore, okay? A couple of years ago, I sprayed them with paint, and oh my God, did I get calls.
Then we did the red ribbon.
So we went to ribbons.
Alright, maintenance fee collection issues.
All right, we had a problem with the ACH company. That's the company that takes the, debits everybody's account for some reason, and they haven't been able to explain it to me why, but they did everything correct within reason. A couple of minor mistakes, but all of the 1,200 units, they only debited $100. So many people were saying that's the best insurance cut that they'd gotten. They said, now I know where the $100 came from.
I'm running for re-election on that.
Yeah, John said he loved it.
Anyway, there were 31 of them. We've contacted personally all 30 of them. Because one is in Scotland, we had to write him a letter. And they've all said, oh, we understand. And probably 2/3 of them already brought checks in. So that situation turned out a little bit easier to resolve than I thought it was going to be, but it's well underway. So I just want to give you a report.
Alright, camera box repairs. Everybody got it? Pam, you handed this out?
Yeah, I did. Well, I gave it out the last meeting, so you should, if you don't have
Well,
it.
basically, yeah. We've got the camera boxes, and we received 4 proposals to, I guess the best word is to renovate the box to prevent rusting. What happened was the equipment had to come out because the boxes as installed were rusting, causing mold and mildew and deterioration of the guts of the system, if you will. So now that Spectrum is going to re-power them at no charge to us, which is a savings of about $600 a month, something of that nature. If we renovate the boxes and put the equipment in, we'll be back in business.
Jim has the.
Jim, you want to talk? Am I talking over you?
He's muted.
You gotta unmute, Jim.
Unmute, Jim.
oh, it's okay, my wife talks over me all the time, so it's, no, speaking with the team and going over this, I don't wanna waste any more of your time. Well, like John said, we've had proposals in the past to bring this up to speed. Speaking with the team, we recommend that we go with Sarasota Security Control, CCT Division, based on the fact that they know our system completely. They're on standby. Once the board approves going with them, they will go ahead and have the fabricator go ahead and put on notice to start creating the shields that go over the existing boxes, refurbish all the cabling, and start installing the power supply, backup supplies, and the VPN routers. Once Spectrum puts their equipment in, then they can go back and see which cameras need to be tweaked. But we won't know because they're IP cameras, and IP cameras are internet protocol. If you don't have internet until that point, we won't know until Spectrum puts their routers, their modems in. The cost is $4,226.50 as opposed to all the other proposals that we got. We're ready to rock and roll.
Jim, that includes all trips to get it back up to speed after, including after?
Everything.
Okay, soup to nuts.
That's it.
Do we need any other equipment besides this? Is other equipment all usable, workable, gonna work for?
Everything is there.
Yeah, they're the ones that installed it, so if anything needs to be done, they'll take care of it, but yes,
And like I said,
we're
Bob,
led to
we
believe.
won't know exactly until we have the internet.
I understand that.
But as of last May of 2023, every camera except the one facing Woodlawn was operational and functional. So that was 1 out of 18 cameras that was not functioning properly.
Does the board have to vote on that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a motion.
I move that we accept SSP, Sarasota Security Patrol's bid to refurbish our boxes and get them ready for Spectrum.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Roll call.
I will.
Okay.
For the 4,226.
4,226.
Put that.
Before, yeah, I will, it will be, I didn't.
Okay.
All right,
42,2650.
Cookie.
Accept.
Dan,
Accept.
I accept. Shannon's not here. Steve?
Accept.
Dick?
Yes.
Who's making that noise? Is that me? Denny?
No, somebody on the line.
Karen?
Yes.
Monica?
Yes.
Marv?
Yes.
Tammy? Yep. Tiffany?
Yes.
Barb?
Yes.
Gus?
Yes.
Thank you. And John?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay, very good, pass. Take care of that. All done, Jim.
Now, can I just ask about how we not repeat the problem that happened last time?
That's what the shields are for.
Okay.
That's what it's all about. That's the majority of the cost. Keeping the box. If we were to replace the boxes, instead of doing the shield, the price would be maybe 3 times as much.
Okay.
But this will ensure it to be done correctly, because it'll be insulated inside too.
Great.
Reserve study proposals.
All right, we started reserving for a reserve study this year. We've been putting, this year has $5,000 put in it, and it was anticipated that the cost was going to be about $10,000, which meant a couple of years reserve. But things have gotten a little bit more expensive, a little bit more whatever. And I've gotten 2 quotes, and we probably should get more than 2 quotes, but I just wanted to get a feeling. One is a local company, one is a statewide company that they say that they're the largest in the world of what they do. They're also the slowest in the world because I've been bugging them for the price and we don't have them. I'm not saying that they aren't good. I'm just saying that
They're slow.
it's interesting because you call them and there's no operator, and we're dealing with a lady named Carol, and they give you 14 names of 305, 306, 307, no Carol. So you call other people and they're all on, we'll call you back, and nobody does. But I'm sure we'll hear from them, so I'm not trying to cast aspersions, it's just what's happening. But we did get the local one from Rimkus, who specializes it. They used to be Delta Engineering. They're an engineering firm that have spread out a little bit because of the want and need of expansion for reserve studies and things of that nature. And their quote came in at $17,600. And basically what that would do, it would give the association an update of the value of to renovate the capital assets. And they also take into the future of, you know, if it's 15 years to replace this post, they would figure that in there. So it's certainly more scientific than the studies you've been using now. It basically, that I've been doing for you by contacting contractors and getting life histories and finding out what the prices are. So this is, I guess, preliminary at
And
best.
these are people certified as reserve specialists
Yeah.
by the Community Association Institute, which is a national organization. I
National
think.
organization, but their seal of approval is, and who pays the ads?
Yeah.
Is this reserve study a requirement that we need, or is it a meeting some type of standard for the industry? I mean, I take a look at our reserves compared to the world out there, and spending $17,000 to tell us we're doing a good job doesn't look like a good return on investment. I know we have some areas that we need to go in and look at, but who better than us to look at them as opposed to somebody that walks in off the street? However, with all these new changes in the laws and rules and regulations, is this why we're doing it? Or is it because we...
It's because of the three-story building, three-story and up, and how all these associations are in so much trouble because they don't have any money.
Right.
And so they're gonna spend $17,000 if they don't have any money to begin with, but.
If I could add to that, every year the auditor puts in our annual report, the audit report, that our reserves are not supported by an independent reserve study. I don't know if anybody's actually read the audit report, but I do. And that's in there every year, and it has been in there every year. Now, having said that, John does all the mechanics that should be done, so there's nothing, you know,
At all.
that, you know, what he's doing. But it's a matter of, they do an inspection at whatever level they do it at, and making sure we have all the components, and the future pricing, future replacement cost is maybe the most current in the industry, you know, or future replacement cost is the most current in the industry. So they're really just, it's a checkpoint for us. Especially in light of what happened on the East Coast, and Spring Lakes just got hit with $41,000 special assessment.
I'm not against it if we get a return on investment, but as I see it, I think we're a long way past 90% of the ones that I've seen around us here. And in essence, yeah, we have some things we have to have special. We put into our budget many times some funds in there for special problems like hurricanes and electrical wiring and stuff. So I think we're meeting a lot of requirements here that we have done just by being good business managers, as opposed to somebody who doesn't know our situation and coming in here with a straight old formulation, which in essence will probably, in 50 to 70% of the time, tell us that we're doing a great job. $17,000 for that, I'd rather spend $17,000 for something like fixing the front signs, if that's what we've got to do. Anyway, that's my thought, Pat.
Let's get a couple more bids, I think. I agree with John, 2 is probably not enough. And then see, and it's something we could maybe.
Well, I think I'd just like to see, what our benefits going to be from it. Now, I really would like somebody to document the fact that we're doing well, and then we get rid of all the naysayers. But on the other side, $17,000 to tell us we're doing a good job is kind of high.
And to be fair, Spring Lakes really had like 0 reserves.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of them.
So did Wildewood too?
And yeah, I know.
Most associations are.
And we were in that position when I first moved in here.
But they knew that.
Until John
They
came.
knew they had 0 reserves for a very long time.
But they did have
I know
reserves,
that.
yeah.
So they can't complain.
No.
No, people like the people in Miami, if you're talking about, I mean, how they put off that building for like 20+ years?
Yeah.
They had an issue, they just kept trying to patch it or do whatever.
Well, I know John.
They didn't want their fees to go up.
right?
John helped pull us out of that.
I agree with John, it's
With-
17,000 is a
started
lot
off
of money
with
to
Gary.
spend where
Yeah.
the kind of reserve, we're gonna return.
Yeah,
Last year's
that's what
estimate
we
was
did.
10,
And
so
thank
one
God
place
you
would
were
be
here.
helpful
Yeah.
to see where
Oh,
that
yeah.
stands.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's look at that as we go through it.
Let's wait for the other estimates.
We're not gonna have it in time probably for the budget process, but once we get it at least, we'll be able to, at least educate ourselves about it, and then if we need to do something, we'll do it for next year.
Move this along.
The following year's budget.
Before it's so. Alright. There's a
We're
statute,
gonna budget
718.
Yeah.
more into the reserve anyway.
Yes.
Probably another $5,000 to have legal.
Yes.
Alright, thank you.
I'm not sure what more we need. As previously alluded to, the governor signed many amendments to the 718. Barbara asked us to be put on the agenda, and basically, I may not have put enough in here with what you want to talk about, Barbara, but I basically put July 1st, 2024, amendments to Florida 718, which governs condominiums. There have been several amendments added to that statute. Many of the amendments we already conform with, and we do. Some did not affect Wildwood Springs because our building height does not exceed 2 stories, and so that's the real meat and potatoes of many of these. But some we have to work and implement as we look at them, what they get. And I know I've distributed to the board the communication from Dan Lobeck, the attorney, on what they
That's
are.
where I got it from.
Yeah.
It was
And
good.
so I think we just want to integrate that into it, but go ahead, you.
Yeah, well, I think I highlighted some things at the workshop, but effective July 1st, let's see, okay, 2026, there's whatever your list of official records is, and that the state defines what official records are, must be on your website. So that's just kind of a check, a to-do list to make sure we have all that. And then there are more requirements put on board members, that every board member has to have a certificate. So I think Gus is the only one working towards getting a certificate. I think the rest of us have them.
Karen's got hers.
There'll be several this fall, Gus. When I get the report, I'll send one to you.
And they can't be older than 7 years. So every 7 years, board members have to recertify themselves if you're still on the board at that point. And then annually, every board member needs to attend a 1-hour course, earning a 1 CPE credit.
Beginning when?
That would be, I think that begins this year.
That would be in effect this year, for next year.
Yeah.
Oh, for continuing education?
Continuing education.
I take a tennis lesson for that?
And many that can be taken at the luncheon or whatever that they're given regularly throughout the year.
Yeah, so long as that organization offers CPE credits. If they don't, then that doesn't qualify. So.
Some of the better lunches are not qualified.
So there's other things in here, but again, does our lawyer, association lawyer, go through and say, hey, make sure you do this, or is this all on us to just make sure we're doing it?
It's all on us to make sure we're doing it, and no, he'll never do that, otherwise he'd charge us for it.
Okay.
But he sent us what we needed to know.
Okay.
And he probably charged us for that too. Manager's report.
Okay, we've covered most everything along but except the general items. You've quoted in the report a quote to repair a portion of the sidewalk leading to Pool 3 from Cluster I. It's about, 26 feet, something like that, 28 feet. And it has deteriorated to the point where people that are either on walkers or wheelchairs or who are somewhat unsteady on foot could have an issue. And we've always looked at safety as a primary. I just have the one quote, mainly because Ronnie's been in here before and he gets in and gets out. But if you wish, I could get another couple quotes, but to get it done, I would recommend him. We've been a successful bidder before. $1,950.
Is there a motion?
If you want to make it.
Do it, come on, let's get it done.
Did you say that was attached? Oh, was that the last page?
Should be. Yeah.
Finally get to use those sidewalk funds.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Well, this one kept breaking because the guys drive across this way. So he's gonna put a lower footer under each edge so that it doesn't snap again. The tractor and the wagons and golf carts, it's cracked a couple of different places. We patched it once and it's cracked again. So that's $1,950 is a good price with footers as well.
John, did you make
I made a motion that we accept the bid.
And a second?
A second?
Anybody opposed? Gus, you good? Right.
I had one of my neighbors came to me about a wire that's running, I think over by Pool 7 for one of the street lights, I believe it is, but it's above ground, it's just.
Take a look at it, all right, Pool
And
7.
maybe we could put it in a tube or something.
Yeah, okay, Pool 7.
It's, you know, it's visible right there, the crooked tree.
Okay. Finally, the last couple things on the report is that our workers' compensation rate has been rated again. And again, we've had for like the 8th straight year the lowest rate going, so we're fortunate there.
Great.
And John was talking about this earlier, Manatee County Fire Department requested we trim all trees over roads, and to a minimum of 14 feet. We actually went up to about 16 or 17 feet where we could reach it, and we've already done that. And then finally, the number of service requests managed since the last meeting, 266.
Wow.
End of the report. There's a lot for this time of year. I mean, usually it drops down under the hundreds, but we've been busy.
All right, committee reports. Tammy.
The pool committee is working, we're looking into gate fobs again for security reasons. We got a lot of sneak-ins, so we're looking at that. August 6th, pool 2 at 10 a.m. is our next committee meeting.
Are they homeless coming in, or?
No.
Down at pool 1, they park across at the tennis courts. And, you know, I'm me, and I'm not gonna go in there and challenge a group of people that I have no idea who they are, and I know that they pulled up in cars, so.
Recently, we've been getting a couple, a couple coming regularly to pool 7. They seem to know when the guards are there, and they come afterwards. And they've been very argumentative with the owners when they've been challenged. And so we know the car, and they can be swimming, but we may get their car.
And also, we've been hearing pool 6. We have been having a lot of sneak-ins also.
Yeah, that's hidden back there.
Been a few, yep.
And I would like to ask the board what they think of, we have people that constantly challenge security when it comes to requesting to see your pool pass, or when there's an issue with security. We have people that constantly are being really rude and nasty to our security that we pay big bucks to have. And they're nasty to them. Maybe they don't realize they're being nasty, but they're nasty. If you can't speak to someone in a normal tone or in a professional voice, then I don't think that you should be talking to anybody. They're very quite rude. And I would like to suggest that if security asked, you know, what unit they're from or whatever, that we need to send them a kind reminder saying that that is not very nice.
I don't know if it should be kind, it should just be a reminder.
A reminder, but, and you know, there again, if you have 3 times that you've gotten letters saying that you've been rude and nasty, start getting fined, because it's an occurrence for some people, and they don't even think twice about it.
Security has to know who they are, though, to get them.
does.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
that's a good
they
idea.
get a number. I mean, if they
I
don't know
agree.
them. Now, I did challenge him, but
Well, it's
He
one-
came in one time when there's a group at Pool 3 that's there every day. He's seen their badges 100 times. And he comes in and one of them did, and one was Jack. He asked Jack to leave. Leslie's husband, you know.
There
And he
again-
knows the guy. If he knows him, you know, that should be, okay. It's the one
That's
he
a
doesn't
fine
know.
line. No.
Jack knows better too.
No, he doesn't know better.
It's a fine line, you
Where do we
can't,
get this challenging authority like that? That's what I don't understand.
right.
The one guard, there's one guard that comes in and he knows, he just walks in, takes a picture of the sign like he does, looks at, says hi to everybody, and he knows them. Then there's the other one that, you know, everybody get your badge?
What kind of instruction is he getting from his people?
To check for badges.
Check the badges. I've talked to some of those guys,
understand.
and I have talked to some of them and said, look, I'm just doing what they tell me to do.
Exactly.
And how would you know if somebody's maybe sold their unit and they're not coming back?
Exactly.
Yeah, just using the pool
You
still.
can't do the rule for one but not everybody. So it's either you ask everybody, and everybody knows who goes to the pool, you gotta have a badge. You go to the tennis courts, you gotta have a badge. You don't, you shouldn't be able to play. That's part of it. You can't pick and choose. It's everybody or nobody. And he's following the rules that were given to him by the security team. So therefore,
We're paying him and contracting.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
what's the problem?
There shouldn't be.
I don't
There shouldn't be.
I always have my badge
Yeah,
on my hat.
yeah, I got my badge.
Yeah, and that's a something.
And the part that bothers me so often is some of the people that come in and say, oh my God, there were people in there that didn't belong, are the same ones that say, what do you mean you're asking me for my badge?
Yeah.
Now, I don't understand this, but anyway, I think we need to do something, and I don't know what to do, because I don't want to have somebody
A
down
kind
there policing
reminder.
people.
If he
Issued by
gives us the
security.
numbers, we
Yeah.
can send a little note to them.
There's a security report every night.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
We also will be asked, Tammy, I think you know this, but the gentleman who's been primarily concerned about this says that it's not in our documents, but it's in our rules, that all guests must be accompanied by owners. And there's going to be a request coming for the committee to enforce that. That may be hard to do, because I know that, you know, grandmothers have 22-year-old people coming and they say, go swim, I'm gonna lay down.
That would be me.
Please get out of the house for an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like right out my back door. Go.
There should be an adult.
Yeah.
Hey, John,
Yeah.
what do you do when you have a guest there that you've allowed to use your place, a family member or whatever, and you're not there?
Well, that's right, there's gonna be several things, yes. I believe, you know, most associations have a rule with, say, under 12 must be accompanied.
Yeah, well, then.
Or something of that nature.
I agree. I thought that's what our sign said.
Well, the sign says, but I think if we look at the actual
rules
rule,
and
the actual
regulations,
rule
yeah.
says that the guests should be accompanied. But you're right, if you're in Kentucky and your brother's down here or whatever, it's kinda hard to accompany.
Yeah.
And some of my
Good
guests
point,
want to
Les.
be at the pool all day, and I'm not about to sit at the pool all day. With a
Exactly.
27-year-old, yeah.
That's correct.
Committees. IT. Chris.
We did not have a meeting in June. We will have one at the end of July. We're continuing to work on the resident directory to try to get it in a little more accurate shape.
I think, and we found some, just along with that, we found some issues with addresses and especially getting mail like the coupons and things of that nature. You know, what's happened is that I've always been an advocate, you have an address for mail, official mail being documents, invoices, the national or annual meetings, our collection maintenance fees. What I've found now that many of the letters that were returned with our most recent mailing were people who said, yeah, I'm here. And we've gone in because they asked us to put in the local address. And then they ask for forwarding, but mail forwarding doesn't go all year, it only goes for a short period of time. And so then we start sending mail here, and it should be going up north, you know? So I'm wondering that this policy of changing it here and there, and then when they go home, they forget to tell us they're going, so we can't change it back, is not an issue. I would like to have the directory have a permanent address for legal purposes, and I think that the statute really says that, you know, so we may be working on that. Some people may, it's like sending the sentence out. Census, we ask for an updated census, easy for you to say, census, and people would call me and said, hey, mine's the same, I'm not going to send you one.
Yeah, at this point, the directory does not require a permanent address. And it's up to the individual unit owner to put that extra address in there. And so we can change that to make it a requirement.
I ought to think about it anyway, and then we conform. And, you know, if they're here, they can stop in and let us know.
Right.
There's very few mailings that impact everybody only during the season, you know, so. And they get their mail forwarded from up north back to here anyway. So. I mean, it's an issue that I think we can resolve somehow.
Yeah. Landscaping?
Landscaping meeting will be this Thursday, and we're going to be talking about trees. Anyway, this Thursday, anybody's interested, 10 a.m. And of course, we'll be discussing budget issues because come September, which is close, the various committees have to have their budgets in by, I think it's the 9th of September this year, so be on the alert for that.
Building committee, we are having our meeting Wednesday morning, this Wednesday.
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Anybody interested to come? You're welcome. Don't have a whole lot on the agenda.
Other than we're worrying about the upstairs, we've got to talk a little bit about the
we'll talk
upstairs.
about the upstairs. There's always a committee that I forget.
How about newsletters, nothing till fall?
Security's been
Nothing
done.
till-
The security, we already.
How about the dumpster, over here from the dumpster committee?
Nice title there.
President and CEO. Moving right along, directors. Monica, anything?
I love the French landscaping, which is wild and overgrown.
Yes, okay.
Mark.
No, I'm just looking to, new tennis courts being done and finished.
Yeah. Me too.
Costs me a lot of money.
You got anything? Karen?
Well, I just want to say, I think it's good that everybody's working together of this pickleball thing. We are going to be able to, as you know, Steve, go play Spring Lakes pickleball courts. I had it asked of me today, I got another question.
Yeah, that's not official yet.
Well,
We're
I've
working
made a
on
call.
You made a call.
And it's typical from Delcor. They just take forever to get back to you. I talked to the management company.
Wildwood 2 is it,
We can use theirs up there.
Oh, yeah, we can use theirs anytime. I already got permission.
And as far as our fall and spring festival, we're just having a spring thing now going forward, is that correct?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
That'll be up
Just, I
to
got asked about it, and I just,
discussion.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if...
She won't be back, she won't be back.
Isn't that usually
I know
in
Cindy
November?
Oh, she's not coming back till after Christmas. Then you can run the fall if you'd like.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask.
Well, we
I
can
tried.
think about it. Everybody think about that. If you want to have a fall, we'll talk about it next week, workshop.
Good idea.
Tammy, nothing?
Nada.
Good?
Nothing.
Gus! Gus! Okay. Andrew?
About reserve study, comment about reserve study. It's also a risk management deal with reserve studies, and very few associations have a resource like John.
Can they speak up? We can't hear.
Yeah. Come on over here.
The comment is about reserve studies, and it's The idea of a reserve study is I believe, a good idea. It's a third-party view of what's going on. A lot of associations do not have a resource like John with his knowledge, and yet I see it as supporting John and the board, not necessarily working at cross purposes, because we would hate for, something, whatever it is, that ended up getting missed for whatever reason. And at least we're aware of it. Hey, if it comes back and it's all identical, well, we know we don't need a reserve study for another long while, but.
How often would we have to have one? Are we gonna do it
Well,
yearly?
typically in our industry, it's once every 3 years, but it really depends on the property and how much.
It's not a requirement every 3 years, it would be our decision.
I'm gonna go look back in the statute, because I think there is some notation about reserve study, but it is, so I'm just saying.
No, it's a great clarification.
Do it, I don't think we're gonna pay $17,000 for it, but it's a sense, it's a confidence builder, and it supports John. I don't think it works cross purpose.
I'll give you a little idea, if I may. My community where I live is, well, it's not fairly new anymore, but it was fairly new. We did a reserve study with this company, Rimkus. It was Delta Engineering at that time. And it's an HOA with somewhat less, because, all they're really looking at is the community assets, the roads, the pools, the things of that nature, the fencing, and because the homes themselves are not qualified as far as expenses. But that study, one done 11 years ago, was $10,500. They're now considering, my board is considering doing a 10-year reassessment, and the quote we got was about half, $4,500. So that gives you an idea of the sequence.
So it depends clearly how many assets you have.
Well, right. I mean, the fact that, when I was talking to both of the associations, they were just talking on, and when I said we had 40 buildings, they really paid attention.
Oh, yeah.
Ching, ching.
Yeah.
One last thing in regard to it, does this obligate us to anything if this thing is done with this? Are we now liable for that?
No.
I would say
The board,
that's going to be your decision, but my professional opinion would be, if it comes out and you're purporting to do full funding, I don't think you have a choice. I think you're going to have to follow the full funding.
Pandora's box.
Well, it could be $1 million. I mean, I don't think I'm that far off. But what I'm saying is that the statute says you must full fund or have a vote, have the owners vote not to full fund. And it's got to be a certain majority. If all of a sudden, we're putting in 600,000, say, and this comes to be 750, just for conversational sake, then you're going to have to, say, well, we don't want to have that extra 150,000 this year, but you got to have the owners. The owners are going to have to say that. So, yeah, there's a distinct possibility. How can you not?
I mean, but on the flip side, if it says 750, why do we have 600? We should have 750. It depends, so we have to really
Well, but when
review it
you're
and see what it says.
hit in a surprise attack with insurance, how do you fully fund for that? You can't. When people raise things without prior notice when you're doing the budget.
And the garbage collection.
Yeah, exactly. So
I can tell my HOA, private homes really only pay for the roads and pools. I'm in a two-person villa where we reserve for painting and roofs and other things. And by going through the study, the average maintenance fee for the HOA anyway went up 40%.
Didn't we decide that we were only making decisions on $2.49 per unit in regards to increasing, and the rest of it was all insurance?
Well, that last past year, yeah.
So, I don't know, I need more information, in my thought.
Owner's comments.
Oh, I want to say one thing. In regard to what Karen was saying about the fall party, I was thinking, I might have mentioned it to you, Steve, about maybe like in October, if we could have a dedication / party for the pickleball courts.
Well, then you're in charge.
Oh, pickleball and tennis. Pickleball and tennis.
T-shirts for everybody.
Like a party there, you know, with tables and food and everything, and
They used to do
Very nice.
this.
That's
You know what? They
We
used
were
to-
gonna do that within ourselves and pay for it ourselves, but.
yeah, because we just
No
paid
t-shirts?
$100,000 in change.
It does not have to be the elegant.
Now you want a party.
Right? They used to pay for it.
Maybe Dennis can get singers.
It's just a thought.
Well said, well said.
We'll talk about it.
Yep.
October's too early.
You know, if I was gonna say if you do,
Yeah, we got
you wanna
time.
wait till November.
That's a good thought, right?
I move we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I said,
No, excuse me, our next meeting,
Next meeting.
Right.
before we adjourn.
That's it.
Sorry.
Gets
13th and 19th, I believe.
set real quick. Good thought, Monica. Thank you.
What's the other one? I don't know.
13th and the 19th.
I don't know about the 19th, but I know about 13th for sure.
No, 13th is the workshop, the 19th.
I got it now.
Yeah, the
13th
19th.
should be a
Okay.
13th and 19th.
I was wrong.
You were right.
August 13th
13th is
and
the
19th.
workshop at
Okay.
10 a.m.
Yep.
And the 19th is the board meeting here at
2 o'clock, okay,
And I repeat my motion to adjourn.
Second, John.
okay,
So adjourned.
okay.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Goodbye.
Chris.